This is the Khoodeelaar television channel being broadcast. Actual time is 2:31 British Standard Time, 21:31 GMT. The broadcasting time for this one is 21:40 GMT on Friday, 30th of August 2024. Because this is the actual time when the baby kittens, the black and white one, the gray one, and the shuri-like one would come to the arena to be fed their main meal of the evening. But of course, they are not being allowed to be fed, and I'm being obstructed from feeding them. But the criminals, sick-makingly wrongly named the Joy Foundation. Now, this is the baby kittens. I call them the Princess Kittens 2024. Now, today, Friday, the 30th of August 2024, at the Sainsbury's in Stratford, I picked up the latest issue of Neon Vices, misedited by the racist Aidan White. Aidan Patrick White. Aidan Patrick White was one of the cabal of 3 or at most 4 then NUJ, National Union of Journalists, so-called radicals who pretended to be setting up the so-called alternative to the thing called the East End News, alternative to the then East London I call the idiotizer, advertiser. The main criminals in that cabal fronting the thing was Mike Jane Schitt, followed by Jake Eccleston, and joined by Aidan White. There were the 3, and the 4th one was a racist who must be described as a witch. Zelda Curtis of the Muscovite Communist Morning Scar, SCAR, is a and the same Victoria Park Square where currently the London Metropolitan Police have their HQ for Tower Hamlets and Hackney. And there I found, I met the then 20s Kate Hamilton Bailey. Now she's deceased now, Kate Hamilton Bailey. Kate Hamilton Bailey and I became very close, so close that she believed that she could predict my behavior. When in night time, because she used to drive, I don't drive, she picked me up on a Monday to go to the East End News in Victoria Park Square. And she's sitting on the right, driving, and I'm on the passenger seat on the left, and I'm chatting with her. And then she, in a matter of fact, casually extends her left hand, carrying the packet of cigarettes. Whatever it was that she did smoke in those days. I used to smoke Marlboro. And she said, "Here's a cigarette." And I said, "I don't smoke." As I said that, or words to that effect, that I don't want to smoke or I have given up smoking, she nearly crashed the car. So confident was Kate about her knowledge of me. She knew that I was a heavy smoker, Marlboro cigarettes. And she knew that it was very difficult. It would be very difficult, she thought, for me to give it up. Now, this is now 43 years plus few months. And literally, physically, materially, I have not touched a cigarette for 43 years. When she said, "You can't give up," I retorted immediately, "You have just made up my mind." I said that she had made up my mind because she had been so confident about my behavior. More importantly, she had been so confident about the level of my willpower. I said, if I can't give up smoking, Kate, then I am nothing. And now 43 years, and in that 43 years, she kept, well, in that 43 years, not for 43 years, but in that 43 years, Kate was smoking. She was based in France most of the times, and she was writing that thing called Rough Guide to France. And how long is it? About 10 years, whatever. Something like that. I was checking, I was searching on Google or whatever about with her name, and it said that she had passed away. Now, when she challenged me that I couldn't give up smoking, and I said I'm going to give up smoking, the most tragic thing was that she actually, by all accounts, whatever accounts, there are very small amounts of information about her online. I think she died of cancer, and that cancer could only have been traced to her smoking. And there was no way that I would tell her to give up smoking because I respected her kind of personality, and so I wouldn't tell her. But I knew that it would be deadly. In any case, I and Kate didn't communicate much for most of the times, except when except when in the 90s, the typing system, the computer typing system came up, and she bought a computer and she could do the typesetting, and I wanted her to do some scripts for me, which she brought to New Road. And then I think we ceased communications because she said something about my condemnation of the British imperialists, language, etc., etc. I think by letter, and I think that that was probably a defining moment. But Kate and I were absolutely united on all the things about the East End news, and we agreed. And the fight, as the so-called editorial meetings, where the NUJ cabal, Mike Jamshid, Jacob Eccleston, mainly Mike Jamshid, controlled the meetings, editorial meetings, and Kate and I. Well, I led the opposition. Kate was silent observing, but she actually was in agreement with most of the points that I was making. Now back to today and the Aidan White and the Neon Voice, which I have renamed Neon Voices. He is giving a promotion to Ruxana Fias. Now I'm outraged to the point where I cannot continue with this commentary about Aidan White peddling, spewing idiocies and propaganda fears, especially in the month when the private lie has actually run the Rotten Borough's column. Tears for fears. in which Fiaz is accused of having been a bully, arrogant, hostile, and unapproachable, unaccountable. That is the account that has been given of her by the 20 or 23 new labor councillors that have made complaints against her since 2022. Again, this is a matter that is too disturbing. Now, the stupidity of Aidan White and the idiocy of Aidan White and the incompetence of Aidan White as a so called journalist are outrageously, absolutely unacceptably too deep, too wide, too offensive, too much. So I'll have to do a piece on another occasion in another edition. Now I have borrowed now 8 and 24, 32 books from 2 libraries. Most of them are new books, new editions, 2024 editions. And I am astounded by the stupidity of the contents of a so called brilliant anti imperialist writer called Parker, which I have read bits of by now, and I find it extraordinary. He has written bits about Eric Blair or George Orwell in Burma, in India, and back in Hertfordshire in England. But the superficiality of the book is astounding, stunning. So all these books, like all the newspapers, and I'm coming to today's newspaper, which runs the exclusive front page about the anti-Muslim shaitan who is being propelled by Netanyahu and Modi and Elon Musk and other anti-Muslim shaitans to try to form a coalition of Hindus, Sikhs, and what other religion? I'm not looking at the paper in front of me. So Hindus and Sikhs, maybe Christians, maybe Buddhists, but it's a coalition. He's saying it's against uniting the United Kingdom against jihad. Now, obviously, he's misreading and misdescribing the Muslims as all amounting to jihad. Shall come to that in the later edition if I can get this link. This is at 21:54 hours GMT on Friday, the 30th of August 2020.